All right, good afternoon. I'd like to call the Titusville Special Magistrate Hearing, Code Enforcement Special Magistrate Hearing of March 8th, 2021 to order. My name is Kristen Ike, and I am acting as Special Magistrate today, filling in for Ms. Deborah Babb-Nutcher. The procedures of the hearing today will be governed by Chapter 162 of the Florida Statutes. Formal rules of evidence shall not apply, but fundamental due process shall be observed and shall govern the proceedings today. Hearsay is admissible, but only to support other competent and substantial evidence. Other evidence must be presented. No public comment will be accepted. Does anyone have any questions about the hearing procedures today? All right, seeing none. Any decision that I make today can be appealed by sending a notice of appeal to the circuit court within 30 days of the execution of my order pursuant to Florida Statutes 162.11. So I will go ahead and swear in anyone who intends to testify today. If you plan to present any, sir, do you plan to present any testimony in your case today? Yes. Okay. All right. You can go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay. Thank you. All right. I think, can we proceed on with the cases? All right. So I understand that Mr. Martucci is here for his case, so I will go ahead and take that one first, if that's okay.
There we go. Thank you and good afternoon. As introduced, I'm here to present case number 21-10. And what I would like to do first of all is submit for evidence affidavit notice of violation, affidavit notice of hearing, and the cost recovery statement.
All right. So I believe your typical procedure is the notice of hearing and affidavit, or sorry, notice of violation affidavit is Exhibit 1, correct? And then, I'm sorry, the affidavit for the notice of violation and the notice of violation is Exhibit 1?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. And then Exhibit 2 would be affidavit notice of hearing.
Correct.
And the notice of hearing itself. And then Exhibit 3 would be your cost recovery sheet?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I believe in the materials that I was sent, there was also an email that was provided.
That was the email. I'm not yet ready to submit that. That would be something that would be simply submitted for review if needed.
Okay. All right. All right, go ahead. Thank you. All right, so it's admitted to the record, those three exhibits.
Thank you. All right, the respondent is Michael Martucci. The violation address was at 3404 South Hopkins Avenue, Titusville, Florida 32708, mailed to 5933 South Barna Avenue of the same. The violation was structure exterior, which is a general code we utilize when there's faults with the structure. The narrative of the violation, upon initial inspection, found there was damage to the building frontage to the extent the face of structure supports were damaged, along with a portion of the fascia pulled away from the main structure face, at which time city building official was called to the scene for an assessment. There we go. Excuse me. The initial inspection was 6/25 of 2020, NOV hand-delivered to Mr. Martucci. The notice to respondents was 6/29, 2020, mailed, certified, returned on 8/18 as 2/20, returned to sender. Certified mail was mailed and have yet to receive a return receipt on the certified mail. That being for the notice of hearing. Date given to comply, original was 7/10 of 2020, though was given a lengthy extension due to inability to find a structural engineer at the time. Have had random contact with Mr. Martucci over the phone, and we discussed his progress. And follow-up inspection, 7/9 of 2020, 7/29 of 2020, 8/17 of 2020, and this morning. From the last date, made random inspections as to any work being performed. The results of the inspections were owner constructed some bracing to safe up the damaged areas of the building. Some other repairs were made, though not as instructed by the city building official, requiring a permit and accompanying plans, along with being performed by a licensed contractor. And again, the IPMC code that we utilized in this was the exterior of a structure shall be maintained in good repair, structurally sound and sanitary as not to pose a threat to public health, safety, or welfare. And what we're going to go through is a series of photos that I had taken initially once I was on site and learned about what had happened. This is where the fascia had pulled away from the main structure.
Okay.
This is where, from my understanding, it was a vehicle that had caused this damage. And this was one of the posts, the port posts that it had hit. That's basically just the base of the post. And that's some more damage you can see from the initial structure where it had actually pushed the post into the fascia. And again, another shot showing the angle in which that whole overhang, from what I understand, is a facade when Mr. Martucci had redone the whole frontage of the structure. And as you go along, you could actually kind of see the curvature, the angle of that post and the next one down, and the simple angle of that whole assembly has been kicked over and pulled away. And again, another shot of where the post comes into contact supporting that. This being the posting for the magistrate hearing. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in hearing case 21-10, it is determined that the respondent, Michael Martucci, the owner and record of the property located at 3404 South Hopkins, located in Titusville, Florida, as determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property and in violation of IPMC section 6-109, subsection 304.1 is defined. And it is further recommended the magistrate order the respondent to correct the violation on or before 4/9 of 2021 to comply. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must submit for permit and make repairs according to the city building officials' guidelines. Order the respondent be assessed administrative cost of $104.39. If the respondent does not comply by 4/9 of 2021, a fine of $100 per violation per day should be imposed for each day the violation continues. And of course, he has my phone number, and when that all comes to fruition, you can simply give me a call and we can go from there with the case.
Okay. I had a couple of questions. So
Yes.
your pictures, are they representative of what the property looks like today?
No, Mr. Martucci actually went through and had done some touch-up. There was some bracing, just as a precautionary, and he had went through, replaced some of the base fascia, squared it back up, painted, and then there was a section where where that assembly had pulled away from the main structure that he's filled in and is painted. The basis of this case is the fact that the building official felt the need to have a structural engineer take a look at it on either one, draw up for its reconstruction, what's needed for its reconstruction, or simply say that the repairs that Mr. Martucci has already made would be good enough as far as the structural integrity of what had happened.
Okay. All right. And I'm sorry, did you say, for the notice of hearing, when you had posted it? Because you mentioned that you didn't have the, return receipt, correct?
Correct.
So did you post it as well? The notice of
Yes, that
hearing?
was the very last, for the magistrate hearing was one of the last slides.
Okay. Did you have the date that you posted it?
It should be in. Here we go.
Is that working?
No, it seems to be having a little mind of its own there. Perfect.
It is the 20th, February 20th, it looks like.
Whoop. Let's see here.
Oh, maybe the 10th.
The
I think it's the 10th.
notice of hearing was on 2/4 of 2021, posted at City Hall and on property.
Okay. All right, the date is different on here. All right, but nevertheless, that's plenty of time. Okay. Let me just take a look at my IPMC really quickly. All right, so essentially the city is not convinced that it's structurally sound at this time.
They have not had a chance to take a look at it. I'm going on the basis of what the city building official had ordered with regards to what he needed to see in order to both apply and acquire the permit needed.
Okay,
And then follow-up inspections, of course, by his team or himself would verify the structural integrity's been regained in the frontage there.
okay. Mr. Martucci, did you want to come and provide any additional?
Can I give you the picture so you can see, because you saw the other ones? How do we
If
do
you have your own pictures and you'd like me to review
Yeah,
them,
this
you
is-
can bring them.
that? Yeah, it's kind of important, because this one here, this is the day that it happened.
Okay.
And if you look at that pole, what is that?
Yeah, if you could speak into the microphone there so we pick up your,
I'm gonna take this down. Oh, that's probably not good. If you look at that pole, the columns are big round tubes, basically is what it is, and the bottoms are just boxes. This building never even required the tubes that were in front of the place. But this same unit, I had a lady a long time ago that drove into this with a Mercedes right through the front door of this one. This gentleman was down at one of the businesses down there, so he hit the gas pedal instead of the reverse thing, and he took out the pole. You can see the pole's integrity never gave way if you look at the top, because it's still connected. What happened, it kicked the bottom out, and if you look to the left, you can see that there's a 4-post clamp that goes onto that. So what I did was pulled it back, cleaned it up, and that was a picture you saw that he had there when he went back after, because the first day I was there, we had the police there, plus we had, it was Frank that was there. Then what happened was I don't even know when, from point A to point B, we had, the fire marshal was going in to do a fire inspection in Floors and Moors. And he called in everybody again, and everybody came down there, and that's when the building inspector basically said too that he wanted to, get a building, I had to use a building permit, guy with, so a licensed
engineer.
building inspector.
yeah.
Now, I went through the first one. I tried getting my first person that did the building when I had it done in 2005. He couldn't do it because he was too busy. I tried everybody, and they said they'd give me time because of the COVID thing, too. So I went through all the different things, plus the insurance, trying to go after the insurance that the gentleman that drove into it. So, anyway, what ended up happening was I got that paper that was on the door because I didn't realize they sent certified to my old house, which I still own with my son, but I didn't know till that. But a lot of the people know who I am with my buildings because I'm in real estate also. And then a lot of times, if anybody has a problem on one of the properties we manage or we take care of, if you get a hold of me, I'll try to take care of it. But this one, I was kind of a little hand-tied because they said I had to use a licensed contractor. And they said they'd give me time over the COVID thing. But I couldn't get nobody that would take such a small job on really right now is really what it was. So that permit thing was on the door that you saw there with the picture. I happened to be going there checking the property. I see the thing, and I see the date on it, and I like freaked out because no one got a hold of me. I thought I missed the date already because I thought it said 2/8, and it was after 3/8 was when I saw the thing. So that whole weekend, all I did was I went out there and jacked the pole back up, put it exactly where that bottom piece had to be, and that's why the building looks like this right now. And then all I did was build a wood box instead of the regular one that was there before, which was stucco. And then I got a contractor, because I went to City Hall, I called this other guy that I know, and he basically said, you don't need a building permit. I mean, you need a building permit, but you can do it as owner builder if the price is less than $750,000. So I said, okay. I went down to City Hall, started to do the permit, and the guy says, no, you can't, because you have to own the whole commercial building. I said, I own the whole commercial building, but he says you have tenants in it. So I said, okay, and then I was talking to someone down there, and someone gave me another name, and I got this other contractor. He took it on, he went there, then they want to engineer plans. So that's where I'm at right now. The thing
Okay,
is put together, it's sound, and I'm just going through like red tape or something.
okay, let me back up for just a moment. So, let me ask, and I'm sorry, I missed your name again.
Ken.
Ken? Yes. Did you want to submit your PowerPoint as evidence with all the pictures?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna make that Exhibit 4,
Okay.
okay, for the record. And then I have Mr. Martucci's first photo that he submitted. I'm gonna mark that as Exhibit 5. And this other one, this that he just handed me, is Exhibit 6. And Ms. Farrell and Ken, did you want to take a look at these before I speak about them any further? I don't know if you've seen these before.
I mean, I'll still have the contractor go through this, but I mean, I'm telling you, I was up against the wall on all this stuff too.
All right.
But if you look and see, the pole is still attached on the top, you know what I'm saying? It's just the bottom that, if a car drives through the bottom of it, it's gonna push it out. And that's what it was designed almost to do, I imagine.
Can you flip back through some of the pictures on the PowerPoint again?
Certainly.
Okay. As I see, that one is that column is leaning, and it appears that way in Exhibit 5 as well.
Right there it does, and the reason why, I just pushed it up against the thing. I didn't jack the building back to get the thing back where it had to be, to put it right in the exact spot. After when I got that piece of paper that you had, the thing is, the first day Frank says, Mike, make it look okay. No, sorry.
Oh, yes, thank you.
The first time, we just put it back together, but if you notice, that box right there, if you look at the picture that I had when it was done, that box is mushed up behind it. So what I did was, I kind of straightened the box out and made it just go around it. It was ugly, but it was around it, and then I took that blue box and stuck it in front of it is what I did, for appearance, you know what I'm saying? So it didn't look bad. But the pole is semi back to where it had to be, but I had to get it up on that clip, which required me to take and go, to just jack the thing back to where it has to go to the exact spot. Once it fell into the exact spot, that's why it looks like that did. Because there's a metal clip that sits, how long do those clips go, like 3 inches or something?
Again,
Okay, there's on a 4x4, how they attach to the cement, they drill the cement thing into the ground, and there's a clip that goes on both sides that holds it. So in that picture, it's not on the clip yet. Once it jacks up, you put it on the clip, you let the building back on it, and then you attach the thing back to the 4x4. The building's right back where she was again.
But is your testimony you have put it back on the clips at this
Oh,
point?
yeah, it's back on the clips, it's screwed in, and the contractor was going to City Hall just to, pull the permit and have the guy come out and inspect the clips, is all he was doing there. The bottom one is where the problem was.
Okay.
And on the picture, try to look to that little, if I could point, let me do one thing for you.
Which one?
This front one here.
Okay.
I wish I brought more pictures.
Can
That
you-
clip is right there, right there. You see a metal square thing right there.
Mr. Martucci, I'd like to ask you a question, please. The city is asking for a permit to correct the deficiency in this property, is that?
Yep.
And you're willing to get a permit, that's correct?
Yeah, no problem.
The city's asked for a 1-month deadline for you to obtain that permit. Do you think that's something you could work with?
To answer truthfully, I don't know, because the person that I was, I'm sorry. The contractor that I'm using, he actually calls, his drawings are done by the second person I called to try to do that too, because when I had a problem when Christie Dental caught fire, the contractor that helped me fix that one was this gentleman that does the drawings. But he also does a lot of the drawings for remember when we had the flood with the water? So he's really busy. So I'm hoping he can do the drawings, because I don't know who he could use to get the drawings. But I went to City Hall to see if I had the old drawings of the building, and City Hall said, no, they don't have it no more because they changed the computers up. Is that true?
Yes, that's
Okay. But like I said, the post never left the building. It just got kicked out on the bottom.
Okay.
So,
Do you have
but
any
yes,
more
I would try to get, if we can work together, or if the building inspector would go out there and actually look again and see, like I said, I could try to go back to the original contractor because it was done in 2005.
Right now, time is of the essence, and we've provided a recommendation to the magistrate for 30 days.
Okay.
I would be okay with 45 days if you think that would be a sufficient period of time. Of course, we can't control other people's work, but the goal here is to get the permit issued, and I know that there are delays, so I would be okay with extending the amount of time to 45 days if that's agreeable to the magistrate in order to move this thing along.
And, okay, all right. I just don't know why the person that was in the building wouldn't come down there either to look at the thing to make sure, because we could have probably stopped it at that point there, with the contractor, that's all. But I mean, whatever you think, if you want to do the 30 or 45, I'll try to do the best I can. But the building's straight right now anyway, so it's not a hazard, let's put it that way, and it's clean.
I think the city's looking for a permit in order to inspect
Well,
the
yeah,
property. And
I
so that
wanted to
this-
inspect the property.
Okay.
So I'm saying, I had a contractor, if he goes out there and says he wants a different hurricane clip on the thing, it's still access to do it. I mean, those boxes that are on the bottom, the front of that was unscrewed for him to inspect the clip thing, so, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if my understanding is correct, the city's really concerned that you have like a structural engineer go out and inspect and make sure that this thing is structurally sound. That's really,
It's structurally sound because it lasted through, and as you can see, it's jacked. It's just the building inspector's gonna make sure the right clips, the hurricane clips are on it, because I've also been owner builder on my own houses, and I also did, like I told you, the whole front end of that whole place. I've remodeled that I've owned it since 1988. I think I remodeled it 1, 2, 3 times, the front. And the last one I did in 2005.
All right.
And it's just a fake facade on the front to make it look, and actually I got it from the one there where Beef O'Brady's is in the subway on Garden Street with the columns. That's where I kind of got the idea from it, so.
Okay, did the city have anything else to add? No? Okay. Ken, could you flip back to your recommendation? Thank you. So I do think, and just for the record, actually, one more question for the city. I see on the notice of code violation, you have section 304.1 and 304.9, but you are just pursuing a violation of 304.1 at this time. Is that correct?
Let me go back and look. I apologize.
That's the only one that's listed in the notice of hearing. So
Okay, then yes.
Okay, all
Yes, I
right, thank you.
apologize.
All right, so that section provides the exterior of a structure shall be maintained in good repair, structurally sound and sanitary so as not to pose a threat to the public health, safety, or welfare. And I find it reasonable, given the photographs that have submitted, that the city require essentially a structural engineer to go out and confirm that that is structurally safe at this point. So, given that, let me make my ruling. All right, I find the respondent in this case in violation of the city code as charged. That would be IPMC section 304.1. And that respondent correct the violation before 1:00 p.m. on, now I'm gonna say with 449, so why don't we go ahead and say, we have a calendar out here? All right, I'm just going to go ahead and say April 20th. That's a Tuesday. In the event respondent does not comply by this date, a fine in the amount of $100 per day will be imposed for each day the violation continues past the aforestated date. The respondent is further ordered to contact the code inspector to verify compliance with this order. And I believe also the city has requested costs, correct? So I will order that the costs be paid as well as provided in the cost recovery sheet, which at this point is $104.39. All right. Is there anything else on this case? I think we're...
What was that one? What was that? That 104, what is that?
That's the costs of the city's costs in pursuing the code enforcement case.
So I have to pay that too?
Yes.
I thought you said that if I
Sir.
after 30 days, I probably get the 30 days and nothing would be.
I said there's no fines being assessed as we speak.
Yeah.
So the administrative costs are in addition to a potential fine that would begin on April 21st if you're unable to get a permit, but there will be a future hearing for you to discuss this case in the event that you're not in compliance at that date. I would like to also ask the magistrate to just confirm Mr. Martucci's record, since there was an issue of notice delivery. Where would you like the delivery of this order
Most
to?
of it goes to 776 Country Club Drive.
Can you just say it in the microphone, please?
776 Country Club Drive, but if you even look down my homestead, it's on Rainy Road.
We just want to make sure that this notice goes to.
Yeah, well, I realized that after the fact too, and I own a lot of property in town with different things, so I have to actually get them, I guess I didn't realize, but most of the zoning guys know who I am, and it didn't happen this time, like I
The
said.
the city is required to send the notices to your mailing address
Yeah.
on the property appraiser.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that
so-
other one was my older house that I lived in a long time ago when I first came
Okay.
into town, so it was 88, I think, so.
All right, well, I
Yeah, it's
believe
all
the
right.
city will,
I understand that sometimes this is the things you see that you can clean up with the things too, so, I mean, I get it, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not ducking nothing is what I'm trying to tell you. And like I said, the reason I jacked it and put it back together basically myself real quick is I couldn't find nobody, but I did have it all accessed where my contractor could show the building inspector, I thought, and it would be done, and then we could close it back up. So it shouldn't have got to where it is right now is what I'm trying to tell you, because it's nothing that big, but some people don't, you know, the city changed because of this COVID thing is really what it was.
well, I appreciate it. I guess I'll just say that it looks like this notice of violation asked for correction by the end of July. And we're
Oh,
now
yeah.
in March,
And I did
so-
not stop trying to get it, and I didn't stop, you know, like I said, I don't like things like that, because it looks like, you know, it's like your own self, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't, you know, done that way. But
right.
every time I tried to get somebody, like I said, who wants to just put a poll together and do a building inspectors? And one of the inspectors, basically, one of the contractors said, oh, I don't like doing nothing in the city, I want to do it in the county. And that's not a good thing to hear either, you know what I'm saying? So, but,
Well, yeah, we've given you, as you
yeah,
heard,
no, I understand what
until
you know.
the 20th.
I just got to
so-
pray that I get the guy that, you know, that I tried getting to do the job, if he'll do the drawings for the guy that I have doing it right now, you know what I'm saying? That's, because I don't know too many, what are they, engineers that do those drawings for the city anymore, so
Okay,
that's all. But yes, a
right.
lot of this was, you know, just missing, you know what I'm saying? That's all.
okay.
But I mean, do I get flustered with it? The answer was yes, you know, and you can probably hear it in my voice, you know what I'm saying? But like when I saw that sign on the thing, like I said, that's why I put it all back together really quick that weekend. That building was straight as an arrow.
Okay.
So,
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Martucci.
Okay.
And as you heard at the beginning, you have 30 days to appeal any order that I've made, so.
And the 45 if I need it, is that what that would, or not?
It was not
I think
quite,
it worked out to be 41. She added 11 days to the original recommendation of 30 days. So that's how much time you have to come into compliance. And there will be a hearing scheduled for the second Monday in May to determine whether or not you achieved compliance or not. And so you can appear again in May at the code enforcement hearing to find out the final resolution of this matter.
But if I have it in compliance even before that, does that help?
You will need to call the code enforcement officer, Ken Hutchings, to get an inspection to show that your permit's been obtained. It can be as little as a phone call so that he can verify the document's been issued by the city.
Okay, well, we do have a application on the thing.
The permit needs to be issued by the city.
Okay,
Correct. We have an application, but it did not meet the criteria the building official was asking for.
okay.
And that's all I went through and noted with regards to it, but until it's submitted, once it's submitted, my case is closed and it goes over to the building department and they follow through with it with their inspections.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
If you'd like to jump back to the beginning of the agenda,
Yes.
the first case listed on the agenda is in compliance, case number 20-12, for the property located at 110 Chapel Lane. For this case, the city has asked for the city's cost of prosecution to be imposed. And other than that, the city wishes to close the case as it has achieved compliance. And this one was related to a permit required for work to correct those violations of the IPMC.
Okay. And I understand there was a continuance, right, for the time that they were to come into compliance to March, no, was it? It was March 8th, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, and they've come into compliance. So you would like me to enter an order finding compliance but imposing the cost?
That's correct.
Okay. So just for the record, I will find that the respondent in this case has complied with the special magistrate's prior order by the date specified in that order, and that no fine will be imposed. However, the costs, city's costs will be imposed, and that is still in the amount of, sorry,
$138.85.
okay. No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Okay, so it's $138.85. All right, thank you. All right, so then going on to the APM.
The next case on the agenda, Massey hearing, case number 21-06. The property located at 1200 South Street was found to be in violation of overgrowth, and at the last hearing was ordered to correct the violation on or before March 8th, and compliance was achieved on February 25th, 2021. And in the prior order, costs were imposed. The city wishes again to have a final order imposing costs and achieving compliance. And the cost recovery statement for this case was in the amount of $122.
Yes, I see that. All right, so then for the record, I will find that the respondent in this case has complied with the special magistrate's prior order by the date specified in that order, and no fine will be imposed. However, the city's costs will be imposed in the amount of $122.
The next case is an initial hearing for case number 21-07 for the property located at 4345 South Street. It was presented at the last hearing, however, the case was continued. And regardless of why it was continued, the case is now in compliance as of March 5th, 2021. The city wishes to withdraw this matter.
Okay.
The next case on the agenda, number 21-08, is for the property located at 1700 Chaucer Road. The code enforcement officer assigned to this matter is May Wright, and she is at the podium here to present this case.
All right. Go ahead.
Good morning. All right, so I have 3 items for submittal. Exhibit 1 is going to be the affidavit and notice of violation. Second one is, Exhibit 2 is going to be the affidavit and notice of hearing. And the third exhibit is going to be the cost recovery statement in the amount of $174.83.
Thank you. These are admitted. Just for, would you like me to mark them physically, or will you do that? You've got it. Okay, thank you. All right, they're admitted. All right.
All right, so the owner of the property of 1700 Chaucer Road is Elizabeth Wilhite. The notices were mailed to P.O. Box 1477, Lake City, Florida, 32056. The violations we are dealing with is Code Section 13-28, which deals with dead, diseased, or damaged trees. The Section 6-109 of the Property Maintenance Code, subsection 302.4, which deals with weeds. Section 6-109 Property Maintenance Code, subsection 302.7, accessory structures. In this case, it is a wooden fence. And then the final violation, Section 6-109 Property Maintenance, subsection 304.6, exterior walls. So, narration of violations. The property was found with grass and weeds over 12 inches in height. The wooden fence in the backyard had started to fall over, was down in some sections and missing many others. And then there was missing soffit and fascia along the east side of the house. So the initial inspection was completed on November 5th of 2020. A notice of violation was posted on the front door of the house. The notices to the respondents, November 9th, certified mail was sent out, and it was returned no mail receptacle and unable to forward on November 30th of 2020. The notice of hearing was posted here at City Hall and also at the property on February 11th, 2021. The certified mail was mailed out on February 4th of 2021 and has been returned unclaimed. The date given to comply was November 20th of 2020. I have had no contact with the owner or any family members associated with the property. Follow-up inspections were completed on November 20th of 2020, December 9th of 2020, January 7th of 2021, February 5th of 2021, February 11th of 2021, and again this morning, and all violations are still existing on the property. So the code sections, 13-28, it says, shall be unlawful for any person, manager, owner, agent, or renter to allow debris, rubbish, trash, tin cans, paper, stagnant water, diseased, dead, or damaged trees to accumulate, or a dense growth of vines, underbrush, weeds. So the main portion, it's a lot more in it, but the main portion we used in this section was concerning the trees. So section 6-109 International Property Maintenance Code, subsection 302.4 actually deals with the grass and overgrowth. Premise and exterior property shall be maintained free of weeds or plant growth in excess of 12 inches. Noxious weeds shall be prohibited. Weeds shall be defined as all grasses, annual plants, and vegetation other than trees or shrubs provided. However, this term shall not include cultivated flowers or gardens. So, subsection 302.7 of the Property Maintenance Code deals with accessory structures. This includes detached garages, fences, and walls. They shall be maintained structurally sound and in good repair. And then the final section, subsection 304.6 for exterior walls of the Property Maintenance Code. Exterior walls shall be free from holes, breaks, loose or rotting materials, maintained weatherproof, and a proper surface coated where required to prevent deterioration. So this picture is from the initial inspection on November 5th of the house and driveway. Shows the grass and weeds being well over 12 inches in height. Fascia and soffit are missing on, this is the east side of the structure. We are looking at the rear and side yard of the property. It's a little bit hard to see, but the wooden fence is to the right of the neighbor's fence. It's starting to fall in and fall down. Oh, there we go. I did zoom in for you.
Yeah.
So a little bit closer to see what's going on back there. The fence is starting to fall down. And there's several sections that have fallen already. And then this is the tree. We have a dead tree in the foreground. In the background, the one that does have green on it has a lot of dead growth in it, or dead branches and windstorms, things of that nature. We have dead limbs falling out of the tree and onto a neighboring street, which is Browning. And this is just a picture of the notice of violation posted on the front door on November 5th. So this is from the reinspection done on November 20th. Again, front, this is from Chaucer Road looking up the driveway. Grass and weeds remain over 12 inches in height on the property. The fence has not been touched. And this is a picture of the notice of hearing posted on the property February 11th of 2021. So recommendations based on the testimony. Presented in case 21-08 is determined that respondent Elizabeth Wilhite is the owner of record for the property located at 1700 Chaucer Road, located in Titusville, Florida, as determined by the property appraiser's records. Was found in violation of Titusville Code of Ordinances, Section 13-28, International Property Code 6-109, subsection 302.4, subsection 302.7, and subsection 304.1 as defined. It is further recommended to the special magistrate that the respondents be ordered to correct the violation on or before April 9th, 2021 to comply. In order to correct the violations, we are requesting that the respondents must repair or remove the fence, fix holes, loose breaks, or rotting materials on the exterior of the structure, and apply paint to replaced materials, remove overgrowth from the property, and remove dead wood and bushes from the property. We'd also recommend that the respondents be ordered to pay the administrative costs in the amount of $174.83. If the respondents do not comply on or before April 9th of 2021, a fine of $25 per violation per day should be imposed for each day the violation continues, and request that they contact me once the property has been brought into compliance.
All right, thank you. And just to confirm, I believe you said you had done an inspection even as of this morning, correct?
That is correct.
Is the property, so the last picture, well, you had one from February 11th of the front door, but otherwise they were from,
They were
think
all
November.
from November.
or is the property still in the same condition?
Yes, ma'am, there has been no work done.
Okay,
The grass is dying off due to the cold weather, but it's still above 12 inches in height.
all right. Thank you. All right, was there anything else you needed to add?
No, ma'am?
Okay. All right, I will find the respondent in this case in violation of the city code as charged. That would be sections 302.7, 304.1, 302.4, and also section 13-28. And that respondent correct the violation before 1:00 p.m. on April 9th, 2021. In the event the respondent does not comply by this date, a fine in the amount of $25 per day per violation will be imposed for each day the violations continue past the aforestated date. The respondent is further ordered to contact the code inspector to verify compliance with this order. All right?
Thank you.
All right, the next and last case listed on the agenda is number 21-09 for the property located at 1409 Overlook Terrace. I'd like to invite Officer Hutchings back to the podium for this matter.
Okay, again, as introduced, presenting hearing case number 21-9, I'd like to initially submit for evidence, number 1 being the affidavit notice of violation, 2 affidavit notice of hearing, and number 3 cost recovery statement.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Ken, there are 2 violations listed in the agenda. Has the weeds violation been withdrawn and found in compliance?
Correct. I apologize for not denoting that.
Yes. All right, these are admitted, exhibits 1 through 3.
Thank you.
All right, and so you're pursuing only the inoperative vehicles.
Correct.
All right?
All right, the respondent, David Brian Taylor, violation address 1409 Overlook Terrace, Titusville, Florida, 32708, and everything was mailed to 3575 Stephen Court, Titusville, Florida, 32708. And again, the violation is Titusville Code 13-73, inoperative vehicles prohibited. Narrative: the violation upon initial inspection found overgrowth throughout the property has been brought into compliance along with one of the vehicles tagged and one other with an expired registration tag. So he managed to get the one tagged with the present registration. There's still two, one without a tag and one that has an expired tag. And you'll see that in the depiction of the photos.
Okay.
The initial inspection was 8/20/2020, where I posted the NOV on site. The notice of hearing was 8/20/2020, mailed, certified, delivered, and signed for on 8/24/2020.
I'm
Certified
sorry,
mail.
that was the notice of violation, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I think you said hearing.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay.
Certified mail was mailed 2/4/2021, according to return receipt, and was delivered 2/9/2021, though not in person, signed by agent making delivery COVID-19, and dropped off at the address.
Okay.
Date given to comply on or before original was 9/3/2020, though it obviously was given a lengthy extension. There has been random contact with the owner, both on property, and he had called stating that he did in fact have both vehicles in compliance. When I went back for my follow-up inspections on 2/15/2020 and also this morning, both vehicles, neither were in compliance.
Okay.
The results of the inspection, owner has not tagged one of the vehicles, nor renewed the other. And again, the inoperative vehicle prohibited, no person in charge or in charge of control of a property within the city limits, whether an owner, tenant, occupied, leasee, or otherwise, shall allow inoperative vehicle to remain on such property longer than 72 hours. And again, it goes into no person shall leave any vehicle or property within the city for any longer than 72 hours unless the vehicle has a current tag and registration. And then it goes into, of course, the exception with regards to one that's aforementioned in the 72-hour period. This is the photo of the NOV posting.
Okay.
This is the vehicle without the tag. This is a vehicle, I probably should have zoomed in a little bit closer, but it's actually expired 4/2020.
Okay.
And that is the posting of the magistrate hearing.
All right.
Recommendation based on the testimony and evidence presented in the hearing, case 21-9, is determined that the respondent, David Brian Taylor, the owner of record of the property located at 1409 Overlook Terrace, located in Titusville, Florida, as determined by the property appraiser's records, in possession or control of the property in violation of the Titusville Code of Ordinance, section 13-73 is defined. It is further recommended that the magistrate order the respondent to correct the violation on or before 4/9/2021. In order to correct the violation, the respondent must remove or register vehicles, order the respondent to be assessed the administrative costs of $174.83. And if the respondent does not comply by 4/9/2021, a fine of $25 per violation per day should be imposed for each day the violation continues.
Thank you. And your testimony is, as of this morning, still the same two vehicles were not operable.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I will find the respondent in this case in violation of the city code as charged, which is section 13-73. And that the respondent correct the violation before 1:00 p.m. on April 9th of 2021. In the event that respondent does not comply by the state, a fine in the amount of $25 per day will be imposed for each day the violation continues past the aforestated date. The respondent is further ordered to contact the code inspector to verify compliance with this order. And I'll further order that the respondent may be required to pay the city's costs, which at this time are in the amount of I got this correct, $104.39. All right. I believe that's it. Was there some, I'm sorry, was there,
I believe the administrative costs were $174.83 unless I misquoted on my slide presentation.
I have in this cost recovery.
I may have made a mistake on my presentation.
Yeah, the cost recovery for 21-09, this is 1409 Overlook Terrace, says $104.39.
I would definitely go by our office manager. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, and I should say, did you want to also enter the PowerPoint for as evidence for that case?
Yes,
Yes, so that would be Exhibit 4.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for clarity on the costs, you said they may be imposed. The city typically likes, unless there's extenuating circumstances, we would say shall be imposed.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, shall. Okay, I think you're welcome. That's all the cases we have. We're adjourned.
Coming up next, the Florida Channel, already in progress.
With services provided in Hillsborough, Pasco, Pinellas, Polk, and Manatee counties. Under this legislation, the program must be available statewide.